This is the 529 loan and the payment portion of the college algebra project. So just as a heads up, I will be working through an example that I previously talked about in the other video. This assumes the information that you have all the information completed on the college algebra college project worksheet. So in this link, and it's titled at the top number 3, so you know you're in the right link. It's essentially how to compute the lump sum needed to have college paid for in its entirety. So essentially how much you would need to have initially deposited into account to have enough money to pay for college after 18 years. So that gives you a little bit of additional information for this because you're assuming that you're going to college when you're 18. So for the example that I had, the amount of money that college was going to cost me over the course of those years is an insanely high number. Now keep in mind that's because I'm going overseas, so I'm paying a lot in overseas cost. It's ridiculously high. So just so you're aware of that. So heads up that the amount is going to be higher. If you get an amount that's higher than what I have, you may want to double check your calculations. So just so you're aware, the amount of money that I would need to do 4 years of college, converting from American dollars to British pounds, using the example that I gave earlier, is a staggering $281,970. And let's not forget the 45 cents. So yeah, huge amount. So if you got an amount that's more than that, please double check your work. So continuing on, the rate R is given above. P, N, and T, all of this is from this above here. And then A, the amount, is what you're pulling from. So we've done this in class previously. So what you want to do is go ahead and replace the values with everything, and then you will need to use properties of logarithms to solve. This space here is a picture for your work. So you are solving for a particular variable. It says write the word variable in the spot that you're trying to solve for. So go ahead and do that now. After you get done with that, then you'll find the amount. You'll find this number here. What that number here will tell you, what represents in the variable here. You also, in this document here, you can calculate your monthly payment on your student loan. And going through each of the steps here will tell you what to do. So just following through each of these steps, it's standard, follow through. There's a spot here for you to show your work. You can do that right here. And then down here in the bottom, figures out your monthly payment. This tells you how much you'll pay for college over the course of 10 years. So you're making one of these payments. And then how much do you pay in interest over the entirety of your loan? So for all your years of college, how much are you paying for? So that's this first sheet. This is the number 3 college algebra project loan worksheet. The next one, so let's kind of go from a different direction. Let's assume that you would have enough money kind of saved for, and that's through a 529 plan. So 529 is a plan. Most states have them. They're basically college savings, and it's not necessarily just for college, but essentially for higher education or for education past high school. These plans are great. If you are not a recipient of one, if you are considering having children, that is something that you may want to consider investing for your child, as you'll see. You're in your calculator, your GDC, this has, after the apps button, something called the TVN solver in the finance. These directions are pretty concrete going through. I just did it on mine as well, so you can go through and follow it. Just note that the interest rate that we're plugging in as percent is about 5. The interest rates for 529 plans that I researched as of 2020 vary between 3% to 8%. So 5% isn't out of the ordinary. Really depends on how long you have the plan. The percentages fluctuate, and planning, if you invest right when the child is born, and keeping it over the the full 18 years before they go to college, or whatever higher education they're going, that's the best plan to go. Make sure that you list each of these down here below for you. When it says highlight end, then you have essentially, it fills in your missing variable. So keep that in mind as you go through and doing it, like it fills in the missing one. This tells you, after you press the enter to solve that amount, it tells you what the missing variable is. And then from there, find out, what does that value represent? And then how much would your parents have saved if they had this invested at birth rather than paying off your loans? So this information that you need for this last question, you need to pull from this as well. So keep that in mind. And then the other part is calculating your monthly payments. So this is assuming that your interest rate is 4.66%. To be honest, that fluctuates a lot depending on your loans. Depending on your loan and your loan provider, when it's serviced. When I went to college as an undergrad, interest rate loans were actually at their lowest, and so I locked in all of my undergraduate loans that year, and it is 2% lower than any of the loans that I made for my master's degree, and significantly lower than the loans that I've made for my doctoral degree. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go through. This is assuming this is a conservative number, so just keep that in mind as you go through. As you're reading through this, make sure that you're answering these as you go down, following through kind of this list. And again, it's the same process as earlier. When you go through and solve it, it gives you the missing one, the missing value. It has you a spot here to explain what the value represents, and then find out how much you actually pay for your years of college. So it could be 4 years, could be 5 years. If you figured a transfer, so it just kind of depends on you and your situation. Make sure you show the work below. Not looking so much for the computer screen, or sorry, your graphing calculator screen. Not looking so much for that. You're welcome to include that. However, I'm looking more for the differences. So, how much interest are you getting? So this is kind of like your handwritten work, kind of to explain all this. Again, if you have any questions on any of these, please don't hesitate to reach out and talk to your instructor. We're more than happy to help. Thanks.